Hello everybody and welcome to the Peak Lapel and another episode of the Road to Mykonos. Today is going to be a great one. I have come to Stratstone Aston Martin to meet with one of the sales managers here, Nathan, to take out an Aston Martin Vanquish Volante for a test drive. It's one of the cars that I have shortlisted as a potential for me to drive on the Gumball 3000, and so I need to see if it lives up to expectations. This one is quite a cool spec. I think it's got the full carbon pack on the outside, so the front splitter, the skirts, the rear diffuser, and of course the side strakes, which look great. On the inside, it's got the 177 steering wheel and of course the 177 waterfall fascia in carbon twill. So it looks fantastic, and it's all offset by this black and yellow contrasting leather and stitching. I think it looks sensational. Let's see if it drives as good as it looks, because that's one thing about the Vanquish. It's a pretty stunning car to look at.
And I hope that through this video the noise is going to come through, because I think that's pretty much the defining feature of this car, as well as the looks, which are pretty sensational. So what have we got? We've got a full carbon waterfall dash. This is the dash that first made an appearance on the 177, and then made its way through to all of the other models in the lineup. So it really feels bang up to date with haptic keys. Exceptionally easy to drive, plenty of torque, means that getting off the line is really very simple. But hopefully we'll get some clear roads to try and open her up and experience what it's like, because ultimately this is potentially one of the cars that I'm going to be driving on the Gumball 3000. So just a few figures. Power is 565 horsepower from a 5.9 litre naturally aspirated V12. That V12, which was bolted together to V6s from the Ford Mondeos all the way back in the 90s under Ford's ownership. But from those humble beginnings, it really has evolved into something that is quite wonderful. Then you've got a body that is a meld of aluminium and carbon fibre, with all carbon fibre body panels. So you really are talking about a state-of-the-art car here, but with an old school feel about it, and that's one of the reasons why I identified it as one of the cars to potentially do the Gumball in. So at the moment I'm in normal mode, cruise mode, I suppose, and that's going to be very important, obviously, for the Gumball. 3,000 miles in 7 days. I'm going to need to be able to be cosseted, as well as require the performance as well. But at the same time, it does need to be able to have that capacity to be able to make the progress that I need to make on the rally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of comfort mode now and press one of the buttons on the steering wheel, mark S. Little red light comes on, and straight away you can feel it's a much more urgent car, much less pedal travel in order to be able to accelerate to the speeds that you need. A nice feature of this car actually also is it's got the Bang & Olufsen stereo, so you have the little tweeters that rise up out of the dash when you want to use them. Very elegant, and the noise is fantastic. Nathan, tell me, what's the wattage of the stereo in this?
It's about 900 in this one.
About 900. So plenty, frankly, particularly if certainly for the Gumball, it's very important that the car looks the part.
Of course it is, absolutely.
And that's why I picked the Vanquish, and specifically the Volante, because I'm a fan of convertible cars. And so, whilst of course DBS isn't released in a convertible yet, but that's where the Vanquish came in, really. So that's the effortlessness of this engine. You can reach motorway speeds really incredibly easily. Just a slight flex of your right foot, and it's no problem at all to get up to the speed you want to get to. You're cruising along, doing less than 2,000 revs at the moment, and not even at 55 miles an hour. It's effortless in its performance, really. So I'm in sport. What I'm also going to do now is take control. So I just pull one of the paddles a couple of times, and now I'm in 4th gear. And let's see what this engine really has. Very, very quickly accelerates. You really feel the benefit of the torque in this car. It has a surge, a linear surge that only a naturally aspirated engine can give you. From the experience of driving the comparative car from Ferrari, the California T, whilst it actually does an exceptional job of eliminating turbo lag, there's nothing like a naturally aspirated engine for that feel as the car just moves through the gears and through the rev range, and it gives you that excitement of wanting to push it up to its rev limit. From the inside, we've got the roof up today for sound reasons, so that you can hear us talking on the video. But from the inside of the car, not a huge amount of the noise comes through. It'd be interesting to see what it sounds like from the outside, because if you've ever passed an Aston when it's driving down the road, the noise is sensational. But in here, it's relatively muted. That I suppose really lends itself towards its GT credentials, not too intrusive. So there are a couple of tunnels that we'll go through as we're driving this car, and I hope that then, if we get the windows down, we'll be able to really get a feel for what this car actually sounds like on the outside. In terms of the noise, I mean, I've driven the new Vantage.
Yeah.
Given it is a Mercedes powertrain, I know Aston worked very hard to improve the noise on that, but it still has that kind of quite AMG-esque nature to it.
And it will do, to be fair, it will do. That is, the good thing about the AMG products is everyone knows it's a fantastic engine. It makes great noise, produces loads and loads of power, but Aston Martin have kept that, but they've breathed their own life into it as well, so it is a good engine.
Now, coming to a stop, there's something that I noticed straight away from having jumped out of the California T, which has Brembo carbon ceramics to this. There is actually a lot less brake travel between when that initial wanting to brake and actually feeling the car slow. You tend to get a bit more in the Ferrari systems. I'm sure over time Brembo will iron that out, and I don't know whether, for example, with the F8 Tributo, that's something that will have gone completely. But of course, they're exceptional at overall stopping power. There is that little bit of lag, whereas this actually feels a little bit more immediate than that. Actually relatively lighter than I expected it to be. Again, being used to new age Ferrari steering, which is incredibly light, incredibly direct. With everything that I've read about this car, I thought that it'd have a slightly heavier weight to it, but actually it doesn't. And it feels like it's very easy to drive, and it sounds like a silly thing to say. Bear in mind, originally this was a nigh on £200,000 car. It should be easy to drive, but actually that's not always the truth. drives very nicely.
It is a good car to do a few miles in. There's no doubt about that.
And that's actually got in sport mode. I haven't actually pressed the damper button, so if I press that now, let's see what difference that makes. Pickup really is exceptional from the off. Does this car have launch control? It does have launch control. To drive it faster, the steering actually gains weight. Now, there's something about this car that a lot of people criticised, and that was the gear change. They complained because it was a double clutch, so it wasn't quite as smooth, or the gears wouldn't bang home as fast as they do, for example, in the equivalent competitors. But actually, using it, it's actually pretty seamless. It's the downshift, there is a slight delay, but full bore upshifts, I'm not lifting. That was with my foot flat on the accelerator, and actually there was hardly any jump whatsoever, almost imperceptible. So I wonder whether this is something that towards the end of the Vanquish's life cycle, something that they ironed out.
Yeah. This has got the later gearbox.
This has got the ZF gearbox, isn't it?
That's right.
So actually, having particularly the newer ZF gearbox, having that kind of transmission in the car actually really suits it. It adds to that to the GT credentials, as opposed to taking away from it. Because what it really means is that if you're just cruising and you've got it in automatic mode, it's sensationally easy to drive and also reliable. You know, this is a gearbox that is put in, as I mentioned, so many other brands and cars are using it that it makes total sense, particularly for a smaller brand like Aston, that's certainly up until recently in their time with Mercedes. You know, they needed to bring in technology from other companies.
Oh, absolutely right.
As I'm driving, I'm looking around to see whether it's fair that all the criticism that people have made of this car in the past about having, you know, some old Ford bits that have sort of carried over, and actually, whilst you can spot, for example, the vents there for the air conditioning, or the stalks for the windscreen wipers or indicator, you have the windows here. You can see that there are a number of parts that have passed over, but actually, in the main, it does feel an expensive place to be, and it's more offset by this waterfall dash. Right, we're coming to a tunnel. Let's see what this V12 really sounds like. I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
It doesn't scream. It has an element of a howl to it. Again, it just feels wafty and effortless. It's a lovely car to drive.